Florida continues tonight. The parking lot at Zoo Miami is being transformed into a large vaccination site. When it opens on Friday, it'll become the southernmost site in Miami-Dade County so far. A reminder, for now, the vaccinations are only for people 65 and older, and appointments are mandatory. They'll be available through the Miami-Dade County website.
Grammarly helps make your writing clear and concise, no matter where you are. Compose a cover letter that stands out, thanks to flawless writing and compelling word choice.
Tens of thousands of people in Colorado are out of jobs right now, and many of them cannot get their unemployment payments.
CBS 4's Jacqueline Quinn continues her reporting on the stubborn problems in the system.
People are so frustrated with their unemployment situation right now that they're turning to each other for help. And one idea right now is to potentially get together and take legal action against the state.
We need people to talk to. There is no one to talk to. We are fed up with calling and having to wait for 3 months for an interview. It's unacceptable.
Barbara Moriarty has been on unemployment. She's been looking for steady work. In the meantime, she was picking up part-time housekeeping jobs.
Utilities and rent were really difficult for me to come up with.
Last year, her account was flagged for fraud. She couldn't get through to anyone at the Colorado Department of Labor and Employment for 5 months. Finally, she contacted Congresswoman Diana DeGette's office, and they put her in touch with someone to help.
Contacted them, and I had to submit my ID and a picture of me holding my ID.
Those payments have run out. Now she's waiting with thousands of people to file for pandemic extended compensation, which the department says filers can't do until the end of January or February.
They've had their claims put on hold, and there's no answers, and it's not good enough. We are definitely in the process of contacting different lawyers to find out if they would represent us.
At this point, she feels a class action lawsuit is necessary. Colleen Calander with Ramos Law tells us it's possible to sue. However, it'll be difficult. She wrote, class actions are only successful if it can be shown in part that there are common questions of law and fact, as well as claims and defenses of the parties are typical claims or defenses of the class.
And we want them to be held accountable for what they've done to the general public.
Moriarty hopes she doesn't have to take this on by herself, but she wants to be a voice for many others. In Denver, Jacqueline Quinn covering Colorado First.
At Aspen Dental's Everyday Smiles event, enjoy custom crafted dentures made in our on-site labs.
And while 10 Republican members of Congress crossed party lines to vote for impeachment, none are from Florida. CBS 4's Carly Barnett is live in the newsroom with how our delegation is reacting to the historic vote. Carly.
Well, Elliot, it was straight down party lines here in Florida. Specifically in South Florida, we had our 3 Democratic representatives voting for, our 3 Republican representatives voting against. We also spoke with a law professor at FIU who explains the possible penalty of impeachment and how much is riding on this Senate trial.
I informed the House that Mr. Deutsch will vote yes on 𝐻-Res 24. I informed the House that Ms. Wilson will vote yes on 𝐻-Res 24.
Representatives on behalf of Democratic South Florida Congressman Ted Deutsch and Congresswoman Frederica Wilson making their votes known as they vote in favor of Resolution 24 to impeach President Donald Trump. Representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz also voting yes.
President Trump is a clear and present danger to American lives and democracy, and he leaves us no choice but to immediately remove him from office.
A majority in the U.S. House voted to impeach the president again. Howard Wasserman is a law professor at FIU. He discussed the significance of Wednesday's events.
Disqualification from holding federal office in the future.
And joining us now is South Dakota Republican Representative Dusty Johnson. Thank you so much for your time tonight, Congressman. Now, you voted no on the article of impeachment today. In a statement, you said that President Trump does share responsibility for what happened last week. What, in your mind, would have been an impeachable offense?
Well, I think I've got more process concerns than anything. I mean, clearly the president's actions and words have not been helpful. And I do think they're worthy of criticism. And I do think he deserves more than his fair share of blame. But the reality is we've got 7 days left in this administration. I don't even really know what impeaching somebody, or rather convicting them when they're out of office, does. I think due process matters. I mean, it takes us a few months to, convict somebody who robs a gas station. And I know we like to talk about the House version as some sort of a grand jury. That's really not what the Constitution envisions. And I just felt like a snap impeachment was not in the best interest of the country.
So what would accountability look like in your estimation?
Well, I think there are a number of ways. First off, I think the 14th Amendment, Section 3, is something a lot of members are talking about. Censure would be another. I think impeachment for someone who is out of office looks like some sort of a formal reprimand, really. I mean, you can't kick them out when they're already gone. That's what censure is. And I think had Nancy Pelosi chosen to build bridges, gone with something that would try to unify the House, unify the country, I think she could have gotten 100 Republican votes for censure. She chose a different approach. And I would also just mention, Lindsay, that I do think there'll be judicial proceedings that will hold the president accountable when he's a private citizen. That's how we hold private citizens accountable.
But as you know, there would be repercussions for impeachment even after office, as far as getting pension or stipend or Secret Service access. Do you think that those kinds of punishments would be warranted?
Well, I'm not sure I understand the Secret Service component. I mean, now we're saying that we don't want to keep him safe. We're saying that we were so concerned about the violence that we want to make, and I should know, the incredibly regrettable death of 6 individuals. I don't want to, run past that. But we're so concerned about the violence that we want to make violence against him more likely. I just can't get my head around that.
Now, if you do not support impeachment, what direct consequences do you think that President Trump could face for this role? Beyond censure, anything? Or would you support an effort to disqualify him from running again, perhaps?
Well, censure would have been something. I think if we embarked on a more bipartisan approach, that is absolutely something that I would have been open to. And I've talked to a lot of Republicans, dozens, who felt the same way. There's frustration. There are not a lot of people who are defending the president's actions over the course of the last few weeks. And frankly, prior to that, Nancy Pelosi decided to go a different route. She got largely a party line vote, and I don't know what's going to happen in the Senate, although I suspect it's going to look and feel very similar.
Now, Congresswoman Mikey Sherrill alleges that she saw lawmakers actually leading rioters on a, quote, reconnaissance tour one day before the mob stormed the Capitol. If we learn that that, in fact, turns out to be true, in that case, would you support expelling those members of Congress?
If they knew what was going down, if they knew that there was going to be an attempt to overwhelm the Capitol, if they were giving that tour in an attempt to aid that kind of seditious and insurrective activity, then yes. I think the Congresswoman had better have some pretty firm facts before leveling those kind of chilling accusations. And, let's get the facts out, and then we can decide the best way to proceed.
Now, you, along with many of your colleagues, have said that now is the time for unity, not divisiveness. This comes, of course, weeks and weeks after weeks and weeks of proven false claims of election fraud echoed not only by President Trump, but many congressional Republicans, including the 147 who voted to overturn the results of a free and fair election last week. What can you and your fellow Republicans do, along with the Democrats, to tone down this hostile environment and move forward?
Yeah, and I do. I want to mention just 2 points by way of context. Number one, although I certainly have not been perfect, I have tried in my 2 years in Congress to model good behavior. I have not been one of the ones on either side of the aisle most quick to pull the trigger by questioning my colleagues' motives or questioning their patriotism. I'm going to keep trying to lead by example. I'm going to do an even better job, and I'm going to try to do a better job of calling my colleagues to account publicly as well. I would note last week, I voted to accept the state certifications. I felt like that was what the Constitution called me to do. And clearly that was a very complicated vote for lots of members. But what can we do going forward? Well, I would just note that the rhetoric on the House floor today was the most toxic I have seen in my 2 years. It was the most rancorous. And that's one of the reasons why I was trying to get some of my Democratic colleagues more interested in bipartisan censure, a more unifying approach than, I think, a largely single-party impeachment process.
For just $67, you can make as many videos as you want, and you never need to pick up a camera or use.
My fellow Americans, I want to speak to you tonight about the troubling events of the past week. As I have said, the incursion of the U.S. Capitol struck at the very heart of our republic. It angered and appalled millions of Americans across the political spectrum. I want to be very clear. I unequivocally condemn the violence that we saw last week. Violence and vandalism have absolutely no place in our country and no place in our movement. Making America great again has always been about defending the rule of law, supporting the men and women of law enforcement, and upholding our nation's most sacred traditions and values. Mob violence goes against everything I believe in and everything our movement stands for. No true supporter of mine could ever endorse political violence. No true supporter of mine could ever disrespect law enforcement or our great American flag. No true supporter of mine could ever threaten or harass their fellow Americans. If you do any of these things, you are not supporting our movement. You are attacking it, and you are attacking our country. We cannot tolerate it. Tragically, over the course of the past year, made so difficult because of COVID-19, we have seen political violence spiral out of control. We have seen too many riots, too many mobs, too many acts of intimidation and destruction. It must stop. Whether you are on the right or on the left, a Democrat or a Republican, there is never a justification for violence. No excuses, no exceptions. America is a nation of laws. Those who engaged in the attacks last week will be brought to justice. Now I am asking everyone who has ever believed in our agenda to be thinking of ways to ease tensions, calm tempers, and help to promote peace in our country. There has been reporting that additional demonstrations are being planned in the coming days, both here in Washington and across the country. I have been briefed by the U.S. Secret Service on the potential threats. Every American deserves to have their voice heard in a respectful and peaceful way. That is your First Amendment right. But I cannot emphasize that there must be no violence, no law breaking, and no vandalism of any kind. Everyone must follow our laws and obey the instructions of law enforcement. I have directed federal agencies to use all necessary resources to maintain order. In Washington, D.C., we are bringing in thousands of National Guard members to secure the city and ensure that a transition can occur safely and without incident. Like all of you, I was shocked and deeply saddened by the calamity at the Capitol last week. I want to thank the hundreds of millions of incredible American citizens who have responded to this moment with calm, moderation, and grace. We will get through this challenge just like we always do. I also want to say a few words about the unprecedented assault on free speech we have seen in recent days. These are tense and difficult times. The efforts to censor, cancel, and blacklist our fellow citizens are wrong, and they are dangerous. What is needed now is for us to listen to one another, not to silence one another. All of us can choose by our actions to rise above the rancor and find common ground and shared purpose. We must focus on advancing the interests of the whole nation, delivering the miracle vaccines, defeating the pandemic, rebuilding the economy, protecting our national security, and upholding the rule of law. Today, I am calling on all Americans to overcome the passions of the moment and join together as one American people. Let us choose to move forward united for the good of our families, our communities, and our country. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
Okay. I've got more to share besides that. However, I've been seeing a lot of people, okay, they come on to the YouTube channels, and they just say how much of a Christian he is and he's saved. And I'd like to make a note about that. Right there is my note. I'm not going to mention it out loud. And as far as I'm concerned, a lot of people already know that, but they don't. Some people care, and a lot of people don't. They don't care about the fact that he started it. Okay? And called it life-saving. Right there. I mean every word. Okay? I've already shown many times about his executive orders. Now, here's a new one that nobody knew about. I didn't even know about. And that just came out today. It's a statement, text the letter to the Speaker of the House of Representatives and the President of the Senate. And I'm going to show you on screen what I'm talking about. This was brought about by folks in chat, which is a good thing that they share this information. This is dated today, January the 13th. Text of the letter to the Speaker of the House of Representatives and the President of the Senate. And you see it's dated January 13th, 2021. Before I get into that, I'm going to see what everybody else says. Corolla says miracle vaccine, he won't take it. David Hammond says we should not own a pedestal to put anything on. Corolla says hardly. Fauci and Gates started to blame. And he's in on it too. Yeah. I showed how there's a lot of things I can't mention unless I show it on screen. So what I'm going to do is show you the stuff I took clips of. Okay. You see that at the bottom of the screen, the large little circle. Okay. And it's linked to this. You understand? You know who's behind it now? Not just Bates. But you see that there. And they're linked to this. Okay? And all a person has to do is go onto that website and take a look at what their statements are and compare them. Okay? And remember, the statement you see up on the screen now is that foundation. Okay? That foundation wrote this. All right? That's what they wrote. And it's the same statements here. Operation. Okay? So if people don't think that there's many veins to what's going on today, please go to there and compare it to here. And you'll find a whole lot of information that I've shared before, which I'm not allowed to state. I'm on YouTube. So, see what everybody says. None of the three are, that's true. Use and abuse says, I know. Jenny says, I will never take it. Me either. David says, every video I've seen of someone getting it on television was here in Iowa. They are pushing it in nursing assisted living centers, and they are dying. That's true. They definitely are. Bates said his children never took that. I believe it. Hope you don't mind my nicknaming him. Bates. Fawcett, pretending to take it, rubbed the opposite arm, saying it would only hurt a little. You saw that used. I did too. Oscar, Women Money Pitbull says, hello all. Hello, Oscar. And use and abuse says, Corolla, then he must have some really healthy kids. Farmies feed us the amoebas, the bad new age amoebas. Like I said, I have to come up with new ways to make statements on here. I wished I could say every word that you guys have on here. Oh, Big Farmy had a amoeba. E-I-E-I-O. And we're now in 2021 with the amoebas, super amoebas, as they want to claim. Oscar says, hi. And Corolla says he's just like that. Hey, my BFF OS. And Oscar says, hello, beautiful BFF. So God bless you all and welcome here. Now we're going to take a look at what Trump just put out. This is from the White House website. I'm going to give you all the link up on the screen. And then it should come up. I'm praying that it comes up on YouTube. Okay. So what you're looking at is straight from the whitehouse.gov website. The briefings and statements, text, letter, speaker, so forth, so forth. But I'm going to read what's on here. Dear Madam Speaker, dear Mr. President, pursuant to the International Emergency Economic Powers Act 50 U.S.C. 1701, IEEPA, the National Emergencies Act, and Section 301, Title 3, United States Code, I hereby report that I have issued an executive order taking further steps to deal with the threat posed by the People's Republic of China. Remember, this is what their statement is, not mine. Increasing exploitation of the United States capital to resource and to enable the development and modernization of its military intelligence and other security apparatuses, which continue to allow the PRC to directly threaten the United States homeland and the United States forces overseas, including the developing and deploying weapons of mass destruction, advanced conventional weapons, malicious cyber-enabled actions against the United States and its people. Through the National Strategy of Military Civil fusion, the PRC increases the size of the country's military industrial complex by compelling civilian Chinese companies to support its military. Anyway, he reminds people today, I signed an executive order amending the executive order 13959 that amends prohibits the certain sales as well as the purchases of public traded securities and any securities that are derivative of and are designed to provide investment exposure to such securities. Any communist Chinese military company. They also prohibit the possession of the securities by the United States persons 1 year after the company is determined to be communist Chinese military company. Finally, they allow the Secretary of Defense publicly to list whether a company is a communist Chinese military company, used the criteria in section 1237B4B of Public Law 105261 as amendment by the section 1233, Public Law 106398, section 1222, public. Anyway, it says regardless what the Secretary must report the determination of the section. I'm enclosing a copy of the executive order I have issued. Now, what was that executive order back in November? Let's take a look at exactly what he was talking about. Addressing the threat from security investments that finance communist Chinese military companies. It's very long. I'm going to give you guys the link on what you're seeing up on the screen now. Okay. So I don't want to have to read it in its entirety. That you pretty much can get the idea. Someone actually summarized it better, believe it or not. And I'm glad they did. And thank God for folks on Facebook and the email. So I just have to find it first. Okay. To summarize what you're seeing on the screen, all right, let me get on to where people can see me too. To better summarize this, what you see up on the screen, this EO signed tonight means that those companies, through remaining ostensibly private and civilian, directly support the PRC's military intelligence security apparatuses and aid in their development and modernization. At the time, they raised capital by selling securities to United States investors that trade on public exchanges both here and abroad, lobbying United States index providers and funds to include those securities in market offerings and engaging in other acts to ensure access to the United States capital. This basically says that any affiliation, either as a business, public, or private, or organization dealing with the PRC, will be investigated and prosecuted if guilty of the crimes against humanity. The rest I cannot read that she wrote to sum everything up. So therefore, I'm going to let you look at it in the chat. And I'll let you see it up on screen. There's those words. Okay, I'll let you read it. This summarizes everything. Okay. So I'll give everybody the room to read that little part, as I'm not allowed to state it on YouTube. Okay. And this is the other part. And this is the other part. So if you're on my timeline watching this video, at the moment, I can state this stuff over on Facebook, but if I was doing this video not live on YouTube, these words I could state. Okay. So anyway, besides that, let's go see. This is from the Federal Register.gov. This is documents from there. Okay. And it's really in depth. Okay. It even lists the companies. It says the White House, November 3rd. It says Annex Aero Engine Corp. This is the whole list of the China stuff. Okay. Now, I'm going to go to the back button again to see what was written today. Text of the letter to the Speaker of the House of Representatives and the President of the Senate. I'm going to go and see other news, presidential actions. And this was the new one, executive order on amending the executive order 13959, addressing the threat from security investments that finance communist Chinese military companies. So this is updated. Let me give you the link to this. There's 3 you have to go to better understand what's going on. Even for me to understand what's going on. So that's the link of what we're looking at now. This was put out January the 13th by the authority vested in me as president by the constitutional laws of the United States of America, including the International Emergency Economic Powers Act and the National Emergencies Act, Section 301 of Title III, the United States Code. I, Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America, in order to take additional steps with respect to the national emergency declared in Executive Order 13959 of November 12, 2020, addressing the threat from security investments that finance communist Chinese military companies, to address the threat posed by the People's Republic of China military industrial complex, hereby order as follows. Notwithstanding subsection of this section, any transaction entered into on or before 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on November 11, 2021, solely to divest in whole or part from securities that any United States person held as of 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on January 11, 2021, in a communist Chinese military company as defined in Section 4AI of this order is permitted. Effective at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, November 11, 2021, possession of any such securities by the United States person is prohibited. Is prohibited. All right, it goes on to state, notwithstanding subsection 8II of this section, for a person determined to be a communist Chinese military company pursuant of Section 4A of this order, any transaction entered into on or before 365 days from the date of such determination solely to divest in whole and in part from securities that the United States person held in such person as the date of 60 days from the date of such determinations permitted, effective at 11:59 Eastern Standard Time on the date 365 days after the date of such determination, possession of any such securities by the United States person is prohibited. And it just goes on and on. Okay? But really, you folks need, if you want to keep up with it, you want to find out what's going on, check it out. I'm going to go to the back button. Let's look at January 12th. Executive order on promoting small modular reactors for national defense and space exploration by the authority invested in me as the President of the Constitution of the laws of the United States of America. It is hereby ordered as follows. Section 1, purpose: nuclear energy is critical to United States national security. That is why I have taken a series of actions to promote its development and facilitate its use. On June 29, 2017, I announced the initiative to revive and expand the nuclear energy sector, directed a complete review of the United States nuclear energy policy to help new ways to revitalize the crucial energy resource. On July 12, 2019, I signed a presidential memorandum entitled the effect of uranium imports on the national security, and establishment of the United States Nuclear Fuel Working Group, with the goal of examining the current state of domestic nuclear fuel production and reinvigorating nuclear fuel supply chain consistent with the United States national security and proliferation goals. On August 29th, I signed National Security Presidential Memorandum 20, entitled Launch the Spacecraft Containing Space Nuclear Systems, calling for the development and the use of nuclear systems to enable, enhance space exploration and operative opportunities. The purpose of this order is to take as important additional step to revitalize the United States nuclear energy sector, reinvigorate America's space exploration program, develop diverse energy options for national defense needs. Under this action, the United States government will coordinate its nuclear activities to apply the benefits of nuclear energy most effectively toward American technology supremacy. You see that? You see what I'm seeing? I hope you see that, what I highlighted. American technology supremacy, including the use of small molecular reactors of national defense and space exploration. This work is critical to advancing my administration's priorities for the United States to lead in, right here, United States to lead in research, technology, invention, innovation, and advanced technology development. Its mission is to promote and protect the United States national security innovation base, its drive to secure energy dominance. You read that part, right? I hope you did. Its drive to secure energy dominance, and its commitment to achieving all the goals in the manner consistent with the highest nuclear non-proliferation standards. The United States was the first nation to invent, develop technology to harness nuclear energy. In the 1950s, the United States Navy been operating and advancing transportable nuclear reactors, resulting in powerfully enhanced marine propulsion for its aircraft carriers and allowing nuclear-powered submarines to remain submerged for extended periods of time. The United States must sustain its ability to meet energy requirements for its national defense and space exploration initiatives. The ability to use small modular reactors will help maintain and advance United States dominance, right here, and strategic leadership across space and terrestrial domains. The policy of the United States to promote advanced reactor technologies, including small modular reactors to support defense installation, energy's flexibility, and energy security for use in space exploration, guided by the following principles. A healthy and robust nuclear energy industry is critical for the national energy security, and economic prosperity of the United States. Now imagine that. Economic prosperity of the United States. States it right there. Think about this, folks, while I'm reading it. The United States should maintain technology supremacy for nuclear research, development, manufacturing proficiency, and security and safety. Notice the word security and safety. Then you go on, it says the United States government should bolster national defense and space exploration capabilities to enable private sector innovation of advanced reactor technologies. And a lot of people say, well, this is no big deal. Well, go on down here. The ability to provide resilient, independent energy delivery to installations in the event that connections to an electrical grid are comprised. The ability to operate for an extended period of time without refueling. And he's letting everybody know what's going on here. I'm going to reread that. The ability to provide resilient, independent energy delivery to installations in the event that connections to an electrical grid are compromised. The ability to operate for an extended period of time without refueling. System resistance to disruption from an electromagnetic pulse event. and system cybersecurity requirements. Anyway, this thing goes on and on and on. I mean, there's a lot of info that a lot of people would ignore on here, but I prefer to read it. Just so you know what they're expecting. It's right there, right in front of you. And these 4 little sentences. You understand? They're expecting it. Or it wouldn't state as such. This is an executive order. Okay? The ability to provide resilient energy, independent energy delivery to installation in the event of connections to an electrical grid are compromised. What does it mean to be compromised? Well, guys, the ability to operate for an extended period of time without refueling, system resistance to disruption to the electromagnetic pulse event. What, they're calling that this is going to happen? Think about it, folks, what you see on that screen. This is from their mouth and not mine. I'm going to give you guys the link. If you don't think something's happening, you don't think nothing's going to happen, read it. Okay? The WhiteHouse.gov has so many presidential actions and executive orders that a lot of people don't read it. And they say, oh, it's so boring. Well, how do you know what's going on from the horse's mouth if you don't read it yourself? You can't just insinuate, oh, this is going on, that's going on, without reading it. And it gets on to about the Department of Defense is one of the largest consumers of energy in the world, using more than 10 million gallons of fuel per day, 30,000 gigawatt hours of electricity per year. And it just gets on other stuff about nuclear reactors can be made to benefit the Department of Defense, future space power needs, pilot transportable microreactor prototype, directed analysis of alternatives for personal, regulatory, and technical requirements to inform future decisions with respect of nuclear power usage, and direct an analysis of United States military uses for space, nuclear power, and propulsion technologies. But see, that looks good, right? But people read that part of the executive order, they'll know what's planned. Do you know what's planned? Right there in front of you. Okay? So I'll go down. He talks about space exploration and that NASA is involved and a bunch of agencies and, you know, utilizing nuclear energy systems in space, transportability, thermal management is reduced, zero gravity environment in a vacuum or near vacuum, fluid transfer within reactor systems reduced to zero gravity environment, reactor size mass can be launched from Earth and assembled in space, cooling the nuclear reactors in space. Sounds great, right? Electric power requirements, space safety rating, enable operations, part of human space exploration missions, period of time for which the reactor can operate without refueling, conditioning reactor components, and blah, 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 including domestic fuel supply. Okay? And it just goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. It talks about the natural danger, including phenomena occurring on space and in space. I really advise people to read this on their own because I'm not going through it no more. I don't want to make people fall asleep at the computer or at their Android device. So, again, what this was called was dated yesterday, or January the 12th, Executive Order on promoting small modular reactors for national defense and space exploration. For that, I talked about the Executive Order on amending Executive Order 13959, addressing the threat from security investments that finance Communist China's military companies. This is at the White House Executive Order, January the 13th. merely shared it because someone else shared it, but I went ahead and accidentally found this. The executive order on promoting small modular reactors for national defense and space exploration. A lot of people ignore this stuff. Okay. So, with that said, let's see what everybody says in chat. Watchman says cars are piling up in certain areas in Spokane. They must be repoed cars. Also, businesses are closing up, and windstorm did not help. Ripped up all the tents government forced businesses to put up. Used in interview says, but it's one big computer they want us connected to. Watchman says detailed information about the fraud, which I can't read at this time, Watchman, or my channel gets shut down. But right there is Watchman's link. You guys might want to write it down and go there yourselves. Okay? It's a little small sentence link URL. I'll leave it up on the screen. It's https://youtu.be/J, then capital M, small m, capital E, small n, small s, small p, capital F, small z, small x, and then small g. And that's Oscar says that. Pay attention. And you says I'm too blind. Corolla says that they plan to hide the sun. Doesn't sound like someone leaving. Please move me away from. Oscar says I posted a video a friend of mine sent a couple months ago on YouTube. They deleted it. There was dates of boxes of the you-know-whats from 10 years ago. Strange they would come up with them. What a month. Jenny says you want Rapture used. I want Rapture. Been working on it since World War II. Good analysis. That would be about 40 to 50 days until the Revolutionary War. Okay. Oscar says, I'll rejoice when our Savior comes for us. Oscar, it's the same from years ago, 2003. Jenny Ho says, you says, amen. April Lou says, hey, Mary. Hello, April Lou. Jenny Ho says, 17 years. All I know is China just loves all this. Melissa, hey, girl. Thank you, 𝐉𝐄𝐈, for your information in the name of Yahushua. The thing is there is no space. How is that possible? Okay. A lot of WA had a bad windstorm last night. Jenny, I've been ready since the day I was born. Ramona says, this will protect your car. Then you can recharge things like small devices. I just refreshed. I might have missed something if you addressed me. I did. Jenny Ho says, even I am from Hong Kong before, but not me. April says, I screenshot it. Thanks. Thank you for screenshotting it. Watchman says, if the link does not work, it's on Independent Baptist Church channel on YouTube. And Ramona says, Google EMP Shield. Ramona, ringer hi from Jenny Ho. Watchman says, the internet suppression coming will cause a great falling away. People cannot assemble at churches and communicate. They will be out in the streets. Jenny says, April Lou, we are on this channel. And Jenny Ho gets that link. will start soon. No more churches, even online. Hughes says they were worried that Trump had nuke codes. I'm afraid that for Biden to have them. I would be afraid for both to have them. All right. Do you have your emergency supplies ready? You know, I'm going to bring up Ron Tyler's video. I'm going to go look for it. Emergency Management Associates. We have their approval. So I'm going to bring it up on screen. Hey, Ed. And it's nothing personal, but I'm here to tell you I do not believe in flat earth. Reason why, I've got proof sitting right in this room. My husband. He flew atmospheric. And the world is round. I don't care what anybody says. If that offends you, you can leave. But that's my choice. That's my view. And if something's round, it means it's spherical. Spherical means all the way around. If that offends anybody, oh well. People want to offend me all day long, or my husband. So anyway, I'm going to bring up Ron Tyler's video. I'm going to give everybody the link.
Did you do it?
No, I'm not a murderer.
I'm the only one who can help you now.
You're dealing with a dirty cop.
She's framing me. I got a plan.
We don't care where you're from, where you've been, what are you doing. We care that you are here learning about emergency preparedness. In this time of trouble and turmoil, we need to be especially mindful of each other. We need to be especially mindful that we need to help each other. We need to be there for each other. We are going through some tough times, and it's only going to get worse. We talk about earthquakes, we talk about floods, we talk about fires, we talk about cyclones, hurricanes, we talk about famine, food shortages, everything under the sun, and it's getting worse. It's getting worse. We're going to be talking about that tonight. But first, I want to welcome everybody here that is chatting with us tonight. Susie's here, 10,000 Lakes is here, Lamb is a Light, Enlightened Truth Seeker, Ann Mountain, Robert Lazar, my dear friend, Paul is here, Jacqueline, James is here, Elaine is here, Lisa K. Dootsy Bug is here, Barbie is here, Garden Spices, John is here, Katie Cakes is here, Rogue Rebel, Kenneth Oliver is here, Garden Spices, my dear friend, retired Nurse Griffin, welcome. Don Patoka, my dear friend, from down the street. Jess is here, Carol Higginson, Storm Gypsy is here, Sherry M. G. Meisner is here, Mir 504 is back with us, welcome. V. Can is here, East Tennessee Patriot, welcome. Barbara Vale, Anne Marie is here, Mary Pedersen is here, Linda Moses, Joe Mott is here, Regina Mesner is here, Isaiah's granny, dear friend, Connie T, Heidi Patrick, Crystal R, Anne Marie, Sheila Austin, Jason Vickery is here, Pulsati is here, welcome. Janine is here, James Carroll, Renee Steffi, my dear friend, John Yo, Mary Lou Merritt, Jennifer Baldwin Priest is back with us. Why? Because heaven forbid that we agree with what the communists say. Heaven forbid we challenge what they say. And we're going to do some challenging here tonight, believe you me. By far, this night is not over for challenges. We're going to challenge the establishment here. I promise you that. We're going to challenge a lot of things. Here, my lapel pin is kind of weird. Hope that's better. I've got American flag pin and a Swedish flag pin here. My country, where my ancestors came from, is Sweden. I lived there, and I claim to be a Swedish American. A few other people from Hawaii as well. Jennifer's Journey, Scotland. Yay! We have people from Canada.
About the troubling events of the past week. As I have said, the incursion of the U.S. Capitol struck at the very heart of our republic. It angered and appalled millions of Americans across the political spectrum. I want to be very clear. I unequivocally condemn the violence that we saw last week. Violence and vandalism have absolutely no place in our country and no place in our movement. Making America great again has always been about defending the rule of law, supporting the men and women of law enforcement, and upholding our nation's most sacred traditions and values. Mob violence goes against everything I believe in and everything our movement stands for. No true supporter of mine could ever endorse political violence. No true supporter of mine could ever disrespect law enforcement or our great American flag. No true supporter of mine could ever threaten or harass their fellow Americans. If you do any of these things, you are not supporting our movement, you are attacking it, and you are attacking our country. We cannot tolerate it. Tragically, over the course of the past year, made so difficult because of COVID-19, we have seen political violence spiral out of control. We have seen too many riots, too many mobs, too many acts of intimidation and destruction. It must stop. Whether you are on the right or on the left, a Democrat or a Republican, there is never a justification for violence. No excuses, no exceptions. America is a nation of laws. Those who engaged in the attacks last week will be brought to justice. Now I am asking everyone who has ever believed in our agenda to be thinking of ways to ease tensions, calm tempers, and help to promote peace in our country. There has been reporting that additional demonstrations are being planned in the coming days, both here in Washington and across the country. I have been briefed by the U.S. Secret Service. There has been on the potential threats. Every American deserves to have their voice heard in a respectful and peaceful way. That is your First Amendment right. But I cannot emphasize that there must be no violence, no law breaking, and no vandalism of any kind. Everyone must follow our laws and obey the instructions of law enforcement. I have directed federal agencies to use all necessary resources to maintain order. In Washington, D.C., we are bringing in thousands of National Guard members to secure the city and ensure that a transition can occur safely and without incident. Like all of you, I was shocked and deeply saddened by the calamity at the Capitol last week. I want to thank the hundreds of millions of incredible American citizens who have responded to this moment with calm, moderation, and grace. We will get through this challenge just like we always do. I also want to say a few words about the unprecedented assault on free speech we have seen in recent days. These are tense and difficult times. The efforts to censor, cancel, and blacklist our fellow citizens are wrong, and they are dangerous. What is needed now is for us to listen to one another, not to silence one another. All of us can choose by our actions to rise above the rank and find common ground and shared purpose. We must focus on advancing the interests of the whole nation, delivering the miracle vaccines, defeating the pandemic, rebuilding the economy, protecting our national security, and upholding the rule of law. Today, I am calling on all Americans to overcome the passions of the moment and join together as one American people. Let us choose to move forward united for the good of our families, our communities, and our country. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
Okay, folks, I'm going to stop it right there. I want you to take a good look at this picture of the president, okay? I want you to take a very good look on this picture of the President of the United States. Let me give you a clearer look, okay? Let me do that. Let me show you this picture, okay? Notice his hands are out of focus. How is that possible? How is that possible? Let me show you another one. Now his hands and the whole body are in focus. How is that possible? Okay. I have some issues. Before I give you an answer for these questions here, let me show you another one here. Okay. This is Nancy Pelosi supposedly this morning. Okay, I'm going to let this roll for a minute. Okay, I want you to hear what's going on and see what's going on. Okay, watch this.
This is twisting my brain. Look at the black gentleman behind her, and now look.
Now look at this. Where did Nancy Pelosi go all of a sudden? Where did she go all of a sudden? She was at this lectern that you see on the right side of the screen. Okay, let's take that back. Okay, where did this black gentleman go? Where did Nancy Pelosi go? She can't just leave that area so quick. Let me let you see this again.
Look at the black gentleman behind her, and now look, she's gone. Okay, I'm going to do this again, but she's talking, and then the guy says, thank you, and then it cuts to a wide shot of the room, and there's a white guy standing right now where she was at. There's a white guy. The microphone isn't even bent the same way. You'll see it again. Watch the microphone. Look how there's a different hue to the brown of the chairs. These are kind of a chocolatey brown, and the other one's more like a yellow, leathery brown. So I think I'm playing it again. Pardon, you know, all the crazy snapshots of the screen, but I'm trying to figure this out.
Okay. The newsman is trying to figure this out. Okay. The newsman himself is trying to figure this out. 1 minute, Nancy Pelosi is at the lectern, and the next second,
look how there's a different hue to the brown of the chairs. These are kind of a chocolatey brown.
Look at that. It wasn't even 1 second, 2 seconds. What happened, folks? What happened in the Senate today? Okay. Look who's up at the Speaker's chair. Look who's up at the Speaker's chair there in the House of Representatives today. Okay. TC 802, I think you hit on it. I think you hit on it in a big way. TC802 said, Ron, I just did a video of this, how they're using CGI and green screens for everything. Got my third strike, and I think they took my channel for it. I must have hit a nerve. Okay? I'm talking about it. Where's Jim Jordan? Storm Gypsy says, where's Jim Jordan? Okay? I think you're seeing what I'm seeing, guys. What is really going on here? Okay?
That is weird.
In this case, guys, in the case of Nancy Pelosi, she wasn't really there. Nancy Pelosi wasn't really there, but where is she? Okay. Now, early this morning, I was sent videos saying that there had been arrests made. I listened to one program where the person that put together the video said that Nancy Pelosi and a bunch of other politicians had been arrested at 3 a.m. this morning. Now, I've done a lot of investigation. I have not found any evidence suggesting Nancy or anybody else has been arrested. I have heard talk for weeks now, for weeks, that politicians were being arrested, that Hillary and Bill Clinton had been arrested, that Barack Obama had been arrested. I don't believe it. There is no evidence suggesting anybody has been arrested. Now, remember Saturday night and Sunday morning? We had people telling us that Scooter Pie just said something that's important here. Ron, do you have the clip of her signing the papers today? She was in and out so fast, something was off. You're absolutely right. Scooter Pie, you're absolutely right. And that's one reason of many that suggests to me she was not there. It was green screen. It was all green screen. Okay? That's what I believe has happened. Excuse me. Now, folks, I don't want to suggest that our politicians are always dishonest. Yes, a lot of them are. And Nancy Pelosi, for one, has told lie after lie after lie. I am frustrated. I'm angry. And I feel like that someone owes us an apology. Then there's this one. I found this today from May 16, 2017. This was 7 months after President Trump was elected. Nancy Pelosi said, our election was hijacked. There's no question. Congress has a duty to protect our democracy and follow the facts. Miss Nancy, you haven't been following any facts. You have lied. You have made up an agenda to go after the president. You have tried to impeach him once, unsuccessfully, because your crap, your evidence had holes in it all over. And your committee that was used to try to trash President Trump was full of holes. And Janet has a right to be pissed. We all have a right to be pissed. Why does Nancy Pelosi think that she can spend all of our money and the Democrats can spend all of our money to get rid of the president? That's all she has done for 4 long years. The Democrats got reelected.
Okay. Anyway, that's what I wanted to bring up to you guys. You know. Hey, Belinda, how are you doing, sweetie? And I just, you know, people are noticing holograms and AI activity and stuff like that. So I just wanted to bring that up. And, you know, and some pretty wild stuff going on. Definitely, definitely. All right. Someone. I'm checking the email, okay? I'm going to bring up Ramona's email as soon as I get to it. All right. I'm getting to it, sis. Now, it's important that I show you this email. And it's to better assist us all on this knowledge. Okay? And this is what she was talking about. Make it smaller so everybody can see it. Here we go. An EMP shield, an HF, UHF, VHF EMP protection up to 200 watts. The ENT 200, the next generation EMP protection with military certified testing, listed by the Department of Homeland Security. Okay? And that, you know, sharing this because I'm going to bring her up on screen to let her explain more in detail for you what this is about, because she would know more about it. So here's the link of invite for right now. Mona, would you like to tell everybody about that? Okay. You want to come on live? This is how we do it. Because Ramona is pretty educated on this stuff. There she is. She's going to explain in detail what she's talking about. So you've got it.
Okay, Ava. This is from Marfoogle News. You know the Marfoogle guy. He puts this ad on constantly. I have been trying to get my husband to buy one of these. If you attach one of these to your car, it will save your car's battery, at least when the EMP pulse goes off, if and when it goes off, or if there's a solar storm or if lightning strikes. Okay, this thing is supposed to guard the power source, the battery. Then you can use your car battery with another device, like a power charger that you plug in to the cigarette lighter, to charge your cell phones, solar chargers, anything else. They have more of these. I strongly urge everybody to look into this. That's not the only one. They have a whole line of these things. You can get one for your house, one for your car, and one for your solar system if you have solar power. I think it keeps the fuse from burning out. Okay. Well, I hope everybody feels better, and that's all I got to say. Okay. Have a nice night, Ava. Bye.
But live tune device right there. It's up on the screen. Hopefully you can hear me now. I'm gonna go check if I can hear myself.
I think it keeps the fuse from burning out. I think it
Okay, we're good. I had to check the YouTube channel. So email live tune device $38.96. I'm not selling it. This website shows it. Live tune device EMR modulation technologies designed to reduce the harmful effects of electromagnetic radiation emitted by data transmitting electronics such as cell phones, cordless phones, wireless earpieces, wireless headsets, computers, laptops, monitors, smart TVs, baby monitors, Wi-Fi routers. And I merely went to go look. It's even got a pet.
Yeah, EMR protection for you.
Wow, for your pet.
That's if they got the.
And they have all kinds of stuff up here. You know, even a cable feed through window panel.
Send me that link. I'll look at it.
Okay, hang on. It's just some pretty wild stuff. I gotta send it to my husband. Hang on.
But the one on the pets is only if it's chipped. They're chipped.
Oh, for if they're chipped.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna put that link up on screen. Hopefully it shows up in the chat. It does on Times and Signs or Us. I can't be at both YouTube channels. I can go to my Facebook page and put it there. Client yeah. I gotta wait for it to load up. This stuff takes time because I have to click. Okay. Got a lot of people sending messages. So I'm gonna put it on my timeline. You know, I offended people earlier, but I'm here to tell you I'm not a flat earth believer. Okay? And I'm sorry that offends people, but that's who I am. Let's see what Ramona says. Good thing to have to. Maybe it will reduce cancer. I believe that to be true, Ramona. So, okay. I'm going to get to scriptures. I don't know where Ed went to. I didn't mean to offend anybody, but you'll get that. So, I'm going to get scriptures up. Okay? Because I think these last days we need scriptures. Let's go see what everybody says. Ramona says, okay. Another doctor died from, I heard that. And Ramona Ringer says, there is hope. I think we're in a boxed lane and a bowl covered with a pyramid. That's funny. Oscar says, I know that at least 2 nurses who got the vac died. See you on the surface, Ed. So we're going to get to scriptures. Okay. It's a real pretty picture one. Beautiful blue. Can you guys see that pretty good? The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth, even forevermore. Psalms 121, 7 through 8. See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Ephesians 5:15 through 16. And the days are evil. We're in the end times. We see that we are. As in water face answer to face, so the heart of man to man. Proverbs 27:19. For we walk by faith and not by sight. 2 Corinthians 5:7. And whatsoever ye do, do it heartily as to the Lord, and not unto men, knowing that of the Lord ye shall receive the reward of the inheritance, for ye serve the Lord Christ. Colossians 3:23. He that followeth after righteousness and mercy findeth life, righteousness, and honor. Proverbs 21:21. For what shall it profit a man if he should gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Mark 8:36. My flesh and my heart faileth, but God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever. Psalms 73:26. For he that will love life, see good days. Let him refrain his tongue from evil, and his lips that speak no guile. Let him eschew evil and do good, and let him seek peace and ensue it. 1 Peter 3:10 through 11. For thou art my rock and my fortress, therefore thy name's sake lead me and guide me. That was Psalms 31:3. Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Proverbs 4:23. Shew my ways, O Lord, teach me thy paths. Psalms 25:4. To everything there's a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Ecclesiastes 3:1. And be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is good and acceptable and perfect will of God. Romans 12:2. And Jesus said unto them, I am the bread of life. He that cometh to me shall never hunger, and he that believeth on me shall never thirst. John 6:35. So it's good to always have scriptures. Gates said on TED Talks his vaccines would depopulate. His mom was one of who started pro-abortion. Wow. Anyway, guys, I'm going to get off here, and may God bless you. Those who are on my timeline, I will continue a video with a lot of information, and I will be uploading it to Rumble on timesandsignsrumble.com. God bless you guys. Have a great night. Thank you for being on here. Ramona, thank you for the info. In Yeshua, Jesus' name, let us all keep looking up for our redemption draweth nigh. Good night, guys. Much love to you, sweetie. Good night, Cruella.